Hello friends, welcome to iExam B. So today is our super session, the first class of English, and here we will be discussing all the important questions that you can expect in your RBI grade B phase 1 exam. All right, so we know that in the previous year we have done analysis many times, and we know that what are the kinds of questions we can expect, right, particularly in English section. And also friends, please remember that reading comprehension is one thing which you may fear, but you don't need to actually, and also you must not skip it and attempt it in the end, right? And also don't think of taking your own sweet time in reading the passage. Clock is ticking, don't get stopped, right? And today we will discuss other questions as well. I will give you one reading comprehension and I will explain later how will we solve that, right? And how will we practice one good reading comprehension. It also has questions based on inferences, right? Students have lot of doubts and issues when it comes to solving questions related to assumptions and inferences when it comes to reading comprehension questions, right? We will understand all of this, how to solve, how to do, how to proceed. Just stay with us through the entire session, right? So, and if you are here with us for the entire session, I'm sure that if you are practicing with me and solving all the questions, you will score really well in your exam, which is on 9th, right? So let us start. Firstly, I want to discuss about the kind of questions that we can expect. We all know that in the previous years we saw para jumbles, that is sentence rearrangement. This is also analysis of the previous years, so please pay attention everyone. We saw para jumbles, and we all know there are two shifts. In one shift there was only one set of para jumbles where you had to rearrange the sentences to form a correct order, and then you had to mark the answers according to the position, as in questions were what is the what is the sentence, what is the correct sentence that comes in the fifth position, what is the correct sentence that comes in the fourth position, like this 2-3 questions were asked. But in the other shift, what you had was, please pay attention to this, the other shift you had to solve one para jumble, and the options were like this, where you had to identify the correct sequence, right? In this case, it takes a lot of time and it just fetches you 1 mark, right? So save this pattern just before the reading comprehension. All right, I've said this. Please make sure that you manage your time really well when you are attempting the exam, right? And apart from para jumbles, correct usage. We have seen correct usage of idioms in both the shifts, and also you can expect it based on vocabulary, that is word, idioms or phrasal verbs, right? If you had left idioms for the end, this is the time to do it. Please pick up your notes and start revising your idioms, right? And also phrasal verbs. Correct usage is very important. Error detection, as we all know, error detection always comes in exam in different patterns. You may expect in 2 shifts we saw 2 different patterns, right? So you should, and before the year before this we saw a different pattern where 3 sentences were given. We will practice all this, right? And 3 sentences were given and you had to choose the correct combination of correct or incorrect sentences as it is asked, right? So different patterns of error detection. Please practice from the mocks. They're available to you at iExam B. Please visit the website. The more you practice, the more B coins you will earn, and you can attempt more tests, right? So please make sure that you attempt these kind of questions. Word exchange, word swapping, whatever you call it, where you have to change the or interchange the positions of the words, that is also very important, and it is very scoring, very scoring, friends. It will be it will be kind of what do you say, a brownie point. If you get word exchange, you should be very happy to see these questions in the exam, right? And connectors, right? So in today's session I have kept my focus on these kind of questions, because these we saw in the previous years also, right? And in both the shifts they were almost the same, right? So make sure that you're practicing along, and now we will start. this is the first question. It is based on what? It is based on idioms, and you have to find out the correct usage of the idiom. All right, and make sure you read the directions carefully. Even if you spot a different pattern, reading the directions will actually help you solve them. So just don't worry that you will not be able to solve those questions if they're of new pattern, right? So go the extra mile. Do we all know what is the meaning of go the extra mile? Do we all know? So going the extra mile is that we actually do an effort which is more than what is expected from us, right? And we do it for something positive. All right, so continue to go the extra mile for alcohol and coffee because they are not good for your health, right? So is it suiting? Go the extra mile actually comes when we are doing some extra effort which is not expected from us in a actually in a positive way to give a positive result, right? So no, it is not fit here. It does not fit here. It is not the correct usage, right? Your company went the extra mile to get me what I needed when I needed it, and I really appreciate that. Okay, so they are talking about, this person is saying that when the person was in when the person was a speaker was in the company of his friend, that went extra mile to get the person what was needed. So yes, this is the correct usage, and most people who have worked with her will testify that she is the strictest of disciplinarians, but it always willing to go extra mile, that is to do that little extra effort. So 2 and 3, use it correctly. We will mark this as our answer and move ahead. All right, bring someone to heal. What is the meaning of bringing someone to heal? You should know that, and if you do not know the meaning of an idiom, try to make only an intelligent guess. Okay, do not just try to कहते हैं अंधेरे में तीर चलाना, don't do that, right? So make intelligent guesses, eliminate the options, and then reach to an answer when you are at least 60% sure, right? So now bringing to heel actually means that when you force someone to obey you, right? So it says, given the fragility of Mr. Wahid's government, US pressure intended to bring the military to heel should be calibrated. So it is not making any sense actually here. To bring military to heel should be calibrated. It is not making any sense, right? So now when we talk about this, because it means to force someone to obey you, right? So this says, I brought him to heel products, right? To heel products. Yes, given the fragility of Mr. Wahid's government, US pressure intended to bring the military to heel, right? So they are forcing. Yes, you're right. They are forcing to obey the other people, right? The military. They are forcing to obey the military. Then yes, I'm sorry. This is actually correct. I brought him to heel products. This is not making any sense. I brought him to heel products is not making any sense. To bring her son to heel, she acted like she was the victim, right? So to make her son obey her forcefully. So 1 and 3 are actually correct. So 3 is the correct answer in this case, right? Moving ahead, get your wires crossed. What is the meaning of get your wires crossed? What is the meaning of this term, get your wires crossed? Yes, come on, give me some responses. Yes, I'm waiting for your responses now. Yes. Okay. Yes, of course, you can watch the video later, then you will have to give specific time to this video. Yes. Okay, so get your wires crossed, just note it down if you don't know the meaning. It means that when you have different understanding, people have different understanding of one thing, right? So let us see about the usage. It says that and it is obvious that even the router correspondent has got his wires crossed on the above subject. Means he has a different opinion of the or understanding on the above subject, right? This was an organized trip with written permission with someone, and someone has got their wires crossed and the whole thing has snowballed, right? So what does this mean? It means that the person was not able to understand or had a different understanding of the entire what do you say, the way the trip was organized, right? So yes, this is the correct usage. Third one says, I would strongly advise her to go back and read her history books once again, as she has got her wires crossed from a historical point of view, right? So means that she has a different understanding of the history, so she should read it again. All right, so yes, this is also making sense. So all are correct in this case. Okay, it is very important, friends, especially when you have combination options. Here things become difficult and tricky, right? So make sure that always when you are attempting the questions that have combination options, you are always very certain of the answer, right? Now, cloud on the horizon. Tell me the meaning of cloud on the horizon. That means that it is something which may bring a bad news in near future. Okay, this is the meaning of cloud on the horizon. The only cloud on the horizon has been the news that clinical trials in America may have to be pushed back, right? So this is actually the correct usage when they are saying that it is something negative or some bad news that may come in future, right? So yes, this is the correct usage. The only slight cloud on the horizon for retailers is emerging evidence that Scott's consumers have delayed their Christmas gift buying. So yes, this is a negative thing, alright. So yes, this is the correct usage. So he was aiming cloud on the horizon. So no cloud, this is not something that can be used in this context of aiming, right? So this is not right. It could be aiming to hit the target or something like this could be the correct usage here. So only 1 and 2 are correct here. Cloud on the horizon. Yes. Moving ahead, kick the bucket. Now don't get confused between kick the bucket and kick the can. I always tell this in my class also. Kick the can. There are several idioms that may sound something, but actually they mean something else, right? Kick the can or kick the can down the road means to postpone something, right? Kick the bucket does not mean is not similar to kick the can. It actually means to die, right? To die means kick the bucket. Now let's see. Now this death may be of anything, it could be of a person, of a cat, maybe of a dream, anything, right? It could be kick the bucket. We can use it in this form also, right? So Sarah's dream of becoming a professional dancer seemed to kick the bucket when she injured her knee. Yes, so the dream seemed to die or seemed to just go away when she injured her knee. This is the correct usage, right? I can't believe my car decided to kick the bucket on the way to work this morning. Yes, so this is right. This means that the car stopped functioning. This is the correct usage, right? I know you believe in this business idea, but don't kick the bucket. So no, we don't say this. We don't ask the person to about dying when we are talking about a business idea. So this is not the correct usage, obviously. So 1 and 2, option 4 is the correct answer. All right, now moving ahead, bite the bullet. Emily took a deep breath and bit the bullet. What is the meaning of bite the bullet? Emily took a deep breath and bit the bullet. Signing up for the challenging marathon she had always dreamed of running, right? So bite the bullet means that when actually you are facing a difficult situation, that you say you are biting the bullet. Please drop your answers in the chat so I can tell you if you are giving the right answer, thinking on the right track, that you should know, right? Okay, so yes, moving ahead. Yes, please keep on dropping your answers so that I will know, right? Again, here it says bite the bullet. Let us see. I just told you the meaning of bite the bullet. It means when you are facing a difficult situation. Okay, difficult situation, a tough situation. Okay, now Emily took a deep breath and bit the bullet, signing up for the challenging marathon. So yes, it will be a difficult situation. It is correct usage. I want to take the job offer. but I can't afford to move and I can't stay in my current job. I have bit the bullet. So no, this is the incorrect usage. Here they should use something which is talking about the dilemma, or someone who is in a confusing situation, right? So this is the incorrect usage in the second sentence, right? Tom knew he had to bite the bullet and confront his fear of public speaking if he wanted to advance in his career, right? So yes, this is a challenging task for him. Bite the bullet is the correct usage, right? So 1 and 3 use this idiom correctly. It is very important. In last year and the year before that also, we had this pattern. Last year it was in idiom based, and the year before that I think it was maybe vocabulary based or idiom based could be, but you must know and practice this pattern of correct usages. Could be of idioms, could be of words, vocabulary based, right? Could be of phrasal verbs, right? So yes, again I'm repeating, if you had left your idiom practice for the last moment, this is the time. Please read and understand all the meanings of the idioms, phrasal verbs, right? So now moving ahead, see eye to eye. What do you mean by see eye to eye? We both don't see eye to eye with each other. Means that generally on most of the matters we don't agree. We are not in agreement. Eye to eye actually comes to means about agreement. Okay. Although they come from different backgrounds, I will write it down. It means about agreement, agreeing on something. Okay. So although they come from different backgrounds, John and Mary see eye to eye on most political issues and share similar values, right? So means they agree on most political issues. This is the correct usage. The team members had differing opinions on the project, but after a productive discussion, they were able to find a common ground and see eye to eye. Okay. That means they were in agreement on the best approach. Okay. Getting laid off from my job was like seeing eye to eye. So this is not actually making the correct usage, because he's talking about a single thing, getting laid off from the job. Seeing eye to eye, first thing should involve at least two people, right? Because there has to be an agreement. So agreement has to be between at least two parties, right? So this is the incorrect usage. Only 1 and 2 use this idiom correctly. So 3 is the correct answer. All right. Now do it yourself. This one we will not discuss here. This I have given, this is the question to you under the weather, given to you, and after every set of questions I have given this do it yourself exercise, right? The answers to these questions are linked in the description box, in the PDF given in the description box. So please download that PDF if you want to know the answers to these do it yourselves, right? So under the weather I will not be discussing it. And also we have a Telegram channel. Again, it has been linked in the description box. You can join that Telegram channel. I will share the solutions there as well. All right. So yes, under the weather, solve it yourself and drop your answers in the chat box right now or in the comment section once this class is over, right? Moving ahead, different kind of questions, very important. This is about your error detection. Read the directions very carefully. It says in each of the questions a sentence is divided into 5 parts, namely so and so, in which one of the parts is given in bold and is grammatically and contextually correct. So the one in bold is actually correct, right? And you have to identify which fragment apart from the bold one is correct in terms of grammar and usage, right? So there are 4 other fragments, only one is correct. So you have to identify which is correct. Okay, sometimes you may be asked which is incorrect, right? So you have to understand the directions and then proceed. Okay, because I've seen many students in the class, they quickly answer, right? When I post a question, they quickly answer, and then they say, when I say no, please check again, and then is the time when they read the directions carefully, and then they actually try to rectify the answer. So make sure that you read the directions very carefully, right? So here it is saying by far most important vulnerability, by far the most important vulnerability stem from the current account deficit. So stem, This is the verb, and they are talking about the subject for this verb is vulnerability. It is singular, so it should be stems from the current account deficit, a broader measure to the trade deficit. With measure you will use a broader measure of. किसका measure है, right? It is the measure of trade deficit. Okay, so yes, we have found the error in A, B as well as C. Because it takes into account, this is correct. D is our answer. We will mark this as our answer. All right. So the directions say that this sentence is divided in 5 parts. 1 is fixed and correct, and out of the remaining 4, 3 are wrong. You don't have to identify what is wrong there, right? You don't have to specifically point out the error, but you only have to tell that which is the correct one, right? You must know, you should be able to understand that yes, something is wrong, then also you will be able to solve these questions correctly. All right, so here D is the answer. Moving ahead, Gupshup intend to use the investment to augment its product, expand in global markets, and also plans by evaluate acquisitions to help it transform so and so. Many mistakes I could spot. Were you able to spot or not? Pause this right now if you need some time, and then resume if you have reached your answer. So it says Gupshup intends, again subject verb agreement. Gupshup intends to use the investment to augment its product, expand in global markets, and also plans by evaluate. So plans to do something, right? Plans to evaluate acquisition to help it transform business communications across various messaging channels. So what is the part that does not contain any error? It is your part B. All right, so you will mark 2 as your answer. Okay, moving ahead, there is several auditors and investment managers. Again यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? Several auditors. So several means many, more than one, right? So there are several auditors and investment managers. This is fixed in the state whose services may be availed of. So of is always used. ये आप याद रखना. This of is generally used for cancellation. Okay, so this is not the correct usage. Availed by the state police, whether to train a set of personnel or to develop a stream to deal only into economic offences, right? So deal only with economic offences. Deal into comes with deal into is also correct usage, but not in this case. We only talk about this in business. Okay, I deal into see, I'm a businesswoman. I deal into wafers. I deal into bottle manufacturing, like this. Okay, so deal with, but they are here handling. It is about handling something. So deal with is the correct usage when it means to handle something. Okay, so yes, deal with will be correct. Here the part that does not contain any error is actually part D, option 3, right? We will mark this as our answer and move ahead. All right, there are guidelines who have been put in place. Now who किसके लिए use होता है? What do we use who for? We use who for people, right? So there are guidelines that have been put in place by the commission, and it is hoped that such guidelines are adequate to cover something, to cover the apprehensive expressed by people. Apprehensive is wrong usage. It should be apprehension. Noun is required here. Okay, so the apprehension expressed by people. Okay, so here C is the fragment that contains no error. We will mark option 2 as our answer and move ahead. Okay, now a continuing surge in the COVID-19 pandemic pushed the country's daily cases to over 93,000, with death crossing 500 for the first time by 4 months, even as India began to record it. Now we have started to find our errors. We don't need to find that what is the particular error in the exam. I'm repeating, don't waste your time in identifying what should be the correct thing here, because that is not what is asked. In exam, saving time, saving each second is important. All right, so with deaths crossing 500 for the first time in 4 months. Okay, in 4 months, even as India began to record. Infinitive के साथ always the base form of verb is used to record the highest number of daily infections in the world. Okay, so here the fragment that contains no error is fragment A. We will mark option 1 as our answer, right? I hope friends you're solving along with me. If not, please feel free to pause the video anytime, take your own time to understand and solve yourself first, and then resume the video to tally your answers, right? Now moving ahead, rather than, once again, veer from high expectation. So veer is incorrect usage, should be veering from. Rather than standing here, please do some work, right? You will use like this, rather than standing here. So rather than veering from high expectation to familiar disappointment, perhaps the search for a new equilibriums. You cannot do this. You are saying equilibriums, which is plural, and then you are saying which means one, right? So this is incorrect usage for either new equilibrium or for a new equilibrium or for new equilibriums. You have to remove a if you want to use equilibriums. Okay, so with China should instead be driven by modest goals, led by conversation, driven by hard talk and self-interest, rather than loft goals. Loft is what? Here the goals need to be defined, as in you need to describe the goals. Goals can be lofty. Loft is a place, it is a noun. It is a place where you can sit, right? Or you can store things. So loft. So it is a noun, incorrect usage. Lofty is the correct usage. So here the part that does not contain error is part C. You will mark option 3 as your answer. Alright friends, moving ahead, prior COP26. We all know that prior we have to use with to. Prior to COP26, prominent leaders of the European Union made multiple trips of several countries. No, trips to. Trips are made to several countries, including India, to coax these. So coax means to actually influence someone, right? Maybe actually to force in a way. So actually coax means when you irritate someone to the extent that they have to agree to what you are saying. This is the actual meaning of the word. Coax these. So these are what we don't know. We have to use them. Right? Prominent leaders of European Union made multiple trips to several countries, including India, to coax them to sign on to net zero by 2050. So sign on to is actually the correct usage. Okay, don't think that it contains an error. When we are talking about signing the agreements, so we say that you are signing on to this deal, you are signing on to this agreement. It is the correct usage. Okay, so here the part that does not contain any error is part E. We will mark option 4 as our answer and we will move ahead, right? Very quickly, do it yourself too. This is in front of you. Please excuse me. Yes, so solve it yourself, and as I said, your answers are there in the PDF, which you may find right now. If not right now, it is there in the description box, and you may find it after this session is over. So please download it, and then you will be able to know whether your answers for these do it yourself questions are right or not. Okay, now next, this is the pattern which we have seen in the past 2 years in your RBI grade B exam. In previous year we also saw this pattern where you were given 4 sentences. Please listen very carefully. You were given 4 sentences, different sentences, right? And the 5th one was all are correct or all are incorrect, something like this. And you know, it may vary, right? And you had to just select the option, the one sentence which is right or wrong as asked in the question, right? So this differs from this particular pattern which is on your screen, because here your options are in combination form, right? So it is difficult to reach to an answer in this case, and there are more chances that you make mistakes, right, in this kind of pattern. So be very, very sure when you are marking your question, when you have combination options. I'm repeating. Okay, now these are the tricks. You may have studied very well, but if you don't be smart while attempting these questions in the exam, you may lose some marks. All right, so just make sure that you are very attentive while you are solving the paper, right? So this one is easy. Be happy if you get this pattern. You got this in the previous year, in 2022. Okay, so now this one, let us discuss the phase 3 of the national vaccine strategy. Will also be enabled vaccine manufacturers. So this is wrong. You don't say will also be enabled, you will say will also enable. Okay, so this is wrong, and we will say will also enable. So one is actually the sentence that contains the error, and we have to choose the correct combination of incorrect sentences, right? So one should be in our answer. So this cannot be our answer, this cannot be our answer, this cannot be our answer, right? So let's see. Amazon noted that as 500 people are working on Jupiter Kuiper program, and the team is working on creating new technology to make broadband more affordable and accessible. So as is not the correct usage here, right? Nearly or about or more than, that should be the correct usage along with this number. Okay, so yes, this also contains the error. Now when we know these two contain the error, we will also discard this option, mark 5th as our answer, and we will save our time and not even check for the third option in our exam, right? But here, since we are practicing, we should know, right? And we should be able to understand and practice as much as possible. We should be able to spot the error. It says, for all the talks of fiscal consolidation, the combined fiscal deficit of the center and the states are still above 10%. We have reached our error, and the error here is of this verb. The verb is not agreeing with the subject, because the subject for this verb is combined fiscal deficit, right? And fiscal deficit is what? It is singular. So R is plural, that is wrong, right? And hence we will make this is. So yes, all our sentences contain error. This was the correct answer which we had marked, right? Moving ahead, the perception of India as a democracy with a diverse and pluralistic society is being undermined by a series of actions, right? By a series of actions that restrict freedoms, discriminate against minorities, and stifle dissent, eroding the foundations of democratic governance and social harmony. लंबा सा सेंटेंस दे दिया. You may feel कि इतना लंबा है, कहीं ना कहीं तो error होगा ही. For what is the first thing that you should do? Check for subject verb agreement. Are they agreeing? Then check for the noun pronoun agreement. Are they agreeing? And then you move forward and check for several other things which we have discussed in some of the classes. And there are students, but you should also know in some of the videos we have discussed the order in which you should check for the errors, right? The perception of India as a democracy, perception is a noun, okay? Can be the subject of some verb. So let us see. Of India, democracy with a diverse and pluralistic society is being. So it is singular. It is correct, right? Undermined by a series of actions. Okay, a series of actions, correct, that restrict freedoms. Can be different types of freedoms, right? Discriminate against minorities, okay, and stifle dissent, okay, they arouse dissent, eroding the foundations of democratic governance and social harmony, making absolute sense and grammatically also correct. We are not able to find errors here. This is the correct sentence. So the options that will contain one will be discarded, and this will also be discarded, right? By the time this problem becomes obvious, we will be long gone. Now this is one rule of grammar that you should know. This rule actually says that when you are talking about two actions, this is what they are talking about, the future, right? They're talking about the future, and two actions are happening in the future, and one after the other, right? They are happening one after the other. Which is happening first, which is happening second is important to identify, right? So by the time this problem becomes obvious, we will be long gone, okay? Now पहले क्या होगा? What will happen first? They are saying by the time this happens, by the time A happens, this will already have happened, right? So B is one thing जो पहले हुआ है, it is the first action, and this is the second action, right? So when we talk about two actions, listen very carefully. This is a rule of tens, and this is one important rule of tens. It may happen that one action is happening after the other action, right? And in this case, the first action will always take the form of your future perfect, the perfect form of tense. Okay, it will take the form of future perfect tense, and the second one will take the form of your simple present tense. Okay, so it will say by the time this problem becomes obvious, we will have been long gone. Okay, we will have been long gone. Okay, this is the correct usage in this case. So yes, this contains the error. If the government had taken action earlier, the damage caused by the floods had been much less severe. All right, so if the government had taken action earlier, the damage caused by the floods, अब ये क्या है? This is the case of conditionals. All right, this is the case of conditionals, and in this case you will always see that with the government, if the government had taken action earlier, the damage caused by the floods would have been much less severe. Okay, so would have been is the correct usage in this case. So 2 and 3 contain the error. We will mark this as our answer and move ahead. All right, next one, the said law gives every resident of state. Try this yourself first. Please try this yourself. Sorry about this. Yes, please try this yourself. Yes, anything? Yes, anything? Leave your answers. Yes. Okay. So let us see. The said law gives every resident of state the right to emergency treatment without paying a single paisa to any healthcare institution. So is it making sense? Is it correct? Right? Is there any any reason or any error of subject verb? No, there is not. Actually, this is the correct sentence. All right. Now, yes, this is the correct sentence, the first one. Okay. Yes. Second one says the date also marks the commencement of the century year of the Wycombe Temple Street entry movement that was launched in 1924 and a milestone in temple entry movements in India. So, is it actually the correct usage? Tell me what is the error here. Of the century year of the Wycombe Temple Street. Now, what do you mean by century? What is the meaning of century? Century means when someone completes 100 things, right? Century is actually talks about those 100 years together, right? And now, what is it the correct usage in this case when they talk about this? No, century actually talks about all the 100 years, but they are talking here in this sentence, they are talking about the 100th year. And for the 100 year, we do not use the term century, we use the term centenary. Okay, so make sure that you are, yes, please drop your answers in the comment section. Right, centenary year is actually the correct usage because they talk about, they call it the 100th year. Okay, and century talks about the entire, all the 100 years together, right? So centenary year of the Wycombe Temple Street entry movement, so and so, right? So yes, there is an error in this sentence. It is wrong. It should be there in our answers. right? And 1 should not be there in our answers, right? And what is important, that where the right to strike is prohibited or strictly regulated, alternate dispute resolution mechanisms must be put in place. So what is important is that, okay, what is important is that we may sometimes feel that, okay, something is wrong here, but is already there, maybe I am thinking in the wrong way. So don't think like this. If your instincts are actually saying, if you have studied grammar and you have practiced enough, and at that point of time when you are well prepared, your instincts actually say that yes, there is something wrong here, then go with your instinct. This is what I will suggest, right? Don't doubt yourself when you are doing the exam, right? When you're taking the exam, right? What is important is that where the right to strike is prohibited and so, okay? So yes, this also contains the error 2 and 3. Option 3 is the correct answer here, right? This one says OpenAI has released preliminary data to show that GPT-4 can do a lot of white collar work, especially programming. Okay, this I've already said. Especially is not correct. Okay, you will, when you have to emphasize, you will say especially, right? The correct usage is especially, not specially. Programming and writing jobs, while leaving manufacturing or scientific jobs relatively untouched. Given both so this is wrong, right? This is wrong, and it should be there in our answers, because we have to see incorrect sentences. If your directions will say correct sentences, in that case you will not include this in your answer, but when they are saying incorrect, you will include 1 in your answer. All right, so this is saying 1 should be in our answer. This cannot be our correct answer, right? Now, given both the competitive package or the safety implications of large scale models, अब अगर किसी ने rules अच्छे से नहीं पढ़े होंगे, it may be difficult for that person to spot an error here, right? Why am I saying so? Because there is one term called negative correlatives, right? What are these? What are these? Please study if you have not studied till now. It is very, very important, because when you are using both, you will always use and with it. When you are using either, you will always use or with it, right? When you are using these as conjunctions, okay? When a question will have scarcely, you will always use what? You should know this. Hardly. What will you use? Tell me in the chat box, and if you want this answer, that also comment in the chat box, and if I will have at least 2 or 3 responses saying that you want an answer to this, what should be used along with scarcely and hardly, I will let you know, but only when you people will tell me that you want the answer, right? The third one says, so yeah, this one is both the competitive landscape, and with both we will not use or, we will use and. The safety, so yes, this is also wrong. 1 and 2, where do we have 1 and 2? We have here and here, so these options have been discarded, right? Good public policies spur economic growth and public welfare and improve ease of living for citizens. However, there is a little interest in public policy education in India. So see, there are certain things to understand in this sentence. However, is used for what? It is not used to add information, it is used for contrast. Okay, it is used for contrast. That is, you have to understand, if the part before however is talking positive, the part after however should talk negative, or vice versa, right? So good public policies spur economic growth and public welfare and improve ease of living for citizens, right? So this is what, this is all positive. So here they should talk about negative. Now why am I saying this? This I am saying because you see this term here, a little. A little is what? Now there is a difference. We may ignore the difference between what? Important terms. Little, a little and the little, right? We may ignore, but there is a difference between these. Little is negative, a little is positive. If I have to, if I want to hire someone, if I'm taking interviews, I want to hire someone, I will say to my peers, to my team there, So I will say that, okay, I think I should hire him. He has a little knowledge on the subject, right? That means I want to hire the person. It is positive that he has a little knowledge. He knows things about the subject. So yeah, it is a positive thing. A little, okay? Now, little is negative. When I want to say that this person knows nothing on the subject, I will say I don't want to hire him because he has little knowledge on the subject. So, that is no point. There is no point in hiring the person. Then I will say little knowledge, right? So, we are coming back to positive and negative. Here, they must talk about negative. Negative is what? Little, right? It is not a little, it is little. So, this is the error here. All these sentences contain error. We will mark 5 as our answer. Now, आप बोलोगे little बता दिया, a little बता दिया, the little नहीं बताया. So, I will tell you the little also. The little means that when the quantity is less, but it is all that is possible. Okay. So, if I say the little knowledge I had was applied in fixing this issue. Okay. So it means that the knowledge, I did not have much knowledge, but I have applied all that I knew, right? So yes, the little means that. When you say that the little money she had, she gave it to her children. Okay, मतलब थोड़ा ही पैसा था, she had little money, but then she gave it all to her kids. Okay, so that is the meaning of the little. Okay, so again, scarcely, hardly, let me check if any of you has written in the chat box. Else I will assume that, okay, you people know the answer. You people know what is the difference, right? So you people know, I'm assuming. Okay, none of you has asked. All right, so scarcely, hardly, you people know. Okay, now over 120 countries have already announced their intent to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050, right? Now, why did I stop? Because intend, I intend to do something. Okay, that is the usage of intend. Okay, their intent means that what do they wish to do. Intent is the correct usage in this case. Okay, so yes, one contains the error, it is wrong. Many argue that net zero is not equitable and fair, as it does not difference between. So difference between is the correct usage, or should it be does not differentiate between? It should be does not differentiate between, right? Does not differentiate between developing and developed countries. So yes, 1 and 2 both have error, right? So just put it correct. Okay, so next one, some criticize mid-century net zero. So all are correct is discarded. This is discarded, this is discarded. Okay, let's see the third one. It says some criticize mid-century net zero as allowing uncontrolled emissions today while relying on certain technologies to offset emissions in the future. So yes, this seems right. Some criticize, that means some people criticize mid-century net zero. Okay, it is the policy as allowing uncontrolled. They criticize it because they say that it is allowing uncontrolled emissions today while relying on certain technologies to offset emissions in the future. So yes, this is actually the correct usage. There is no grammatical error that we find here. It is correct. So 1 and 2 contain the error. Okay, we will mark this as our answer and then move ahead. All right. Yes. One of the lessons learned from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic is the need for collected action. So, firstly, when you see, there are certain terms, which when seen, in any question should always ring some bells, right? What are those terms? Something like this, one of the. You should always know that when you are talking about one of the, it is used in the starting. You have to use singular when it is referring to something. It is referring to one. So yes, with one of the is, is the correct usage. So that is checked. Okay, one of the lessons, always the noun with one of the should be plural. It is right, done. So with the perspective of one of the, there are no errors in this sentence. Okay, now we will move ahead. Lessons learned from the ongoing. So from is also correct because we learn lessons from something, right? From the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. See, so you have learned here that you have to check for these things, as in the negative correlatives, one of the prepositions, right? So see if these things have been used correctly or not in the exam. Subject verb agreement, noun pronoun agreement, right? Or pronoun antecedent agreement. Just make sure you are checking for all these things. One of the lessons learned from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic is the need for collected action. Now we don't say collected action, we say collective action. Okay, collective action among members of the international community to effectively address global challenges such as pandemics and climate change. So yes, it contains error. So one should be in our answer. So this is wrong. The pandemic has created an unprecedented crisis that demands an exceptional global response. Now tell me, the pandemic has created an unprecedented crisis that demands an exceptional global response. So yeah, yes, tell me your answers. Is there any error in this sentence? No, there is no error, right? There is no error. Even if we talk about which and that, you should know the difference in the usages of which and that. Which is used to introduce clauses that are that can be removed without altering the meaning of the sentence, right? So here and that is used to introduce those clauses which may, if we remove that clause along with the word that, then this may alter the meaning or the intended meaning of the sentence, right? So here in second, they intend to tell us that the pandemic has created an unprecedented crisis that demands an exceptional global response. That means the crisis is such that you need you need to respond. The entire world needs to respond in a different way, in an exceptional way, right? So yes, that is the correct usage. But if we remove this part, how will we check if that is the correct usage or not? If we remove this part, then this sentence will be incomplete. It will not convey the same meaning. It will not emphasize on the response, right? It will not talk about the response, which is actually important. They're talking about the exceptional response, right? So yes, that is the correct usage. So which is used to introduce the clauses which are actually not essential, inessential clauses. It is only used to add information. This restaurant serves coffee. Or Ram's favorite restaurants, which also serves the best coffee, is this. So Ram's favorite restaurant is this, which also serves coffee, is something that is only adding information to the features of this restaurant, right? So you can remove that part, that clause, so it can be introduced with which. It must be introduced with which only, right? So second is correct. So second should not be there in our answers, right? Let's check for the third one. As part of the Middle East Green Initiative, Saudi Arabia will work with, yes. So there is an error in 3. So both 1 and 3 have the error. Okay. Now do it yourself and try solving this, and drop your answers in the comment section after this video is over, or you can just write it in the chat box and tally these answers from the PDF, from the solutions that have been given in the PDF in the description box of this video, right? Now next is connectors. Very, very important. There are 2 different patterns of connectors. One is this, where you are at the liberty to choose the positions of these connectors, right? Then there is the other pattern where you may be given options, something like this: the news media, as well as the big, dot 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 will be here after the big, right? So you have to and also maybe the other option may could have been given like this, while the news, okay, dot 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 the big. So in this case, if your options are given in this case, here you do not have the liberty to decide on the position of the connector. These positions are fixed, all right? So in this, it makes a lot of difference in the meaning of the sentence if you change the position of the connector, all right? So make sure that you read it very carefully, what kind of pattern you get. In one shift, this was the pattern last year, and in the other shift this was the pattern, right? So we got both the patterns. So this one says the news media industry which invests in journalists has struggled to stay afloat. The big tech platforms have become more and more powerful. Okay, so how will you solve connector based questions? Now those who don't know what are connectors and what are connector based questions, firstly understand that you have to read the sentences to know that what is the relation between these two sentences. Are they showing similarity? Are they showing contrast? Are they showing cause and effect? Are they showing emphasis? So, and for every purpose there is a different list of connectors, right? Are they adding information? For every purpose there has to be there is a particular list, and you have to pick connectors from that list which fulfills that particular purpose, right? Like for here, they are saying in this sentence that news media industry which invests in journalists has struggled to stay afloat, right? So this is something bad that is happening to this news media industry. Here they are saying that big tech platforms have become more and more powerful, right? So they are saying something bad happened here, but something good happened here. So say I used but, right? So they are talking about what? Contrast. So you have to see what are the connectors that are used to add contrast. You have to select connector, appropriate connector as per the need, okay? As well as is used for what? Adding information, okay? Adding information, as well as therefore for result, cause and effect, right? While is used when you want to show contrast, right? So you can say while the news media industry which invests in journalists has struggled to stay afloat, comma, the big tech platforms have become more and more powerful. Or you can say this A first, while, and then B, okay? I can say I like to swim while my daughter likes to dance, okay? While I like to swim, comma, my daughter likes to dance, okay? So that is how we can use this, this is how we can connect these two sentences and show contrast, okay? So A and only two we have to select. Option 3 is our answer, right? Moving ahead, there was little chance of success. They decided to move forward with the plan, right? So it is what? It is again contrast, because it is generally expected that if the chance of success is less, we will not proceed with that plan, right? But still, when they decided to move forward with the plan, they are moving contrary to what is the expectation. So this is contrast. So there was little chance of success, nevertheless, still, whereas, okay? So nevertheless is used when you talk about when you talk about actually contrast, right? Still they decided to move with the plan, okay? Whereas you talk about whereas in the terms of contrast, but it is not the correct usage here, right? So here only still, because still is used when you will say that it is raining outside, still I will have to go to office, right? So yes, still is the correct usage here. Nevertheless, it is again used to show contrast or going in one direction which is not expected, okay? So 2 and 3 are the correct usages, right? Okay, now moving ahead. So also, since we did this question, it also highlights one important point, that from the entire list of contrast, it will not definitely mean that all the words, all the connectors that are showing contrast will fit in each and every case, all right? In the entire list of cause and effect, It is not necessary that the entire list of connectors showing cause and effect will, all the connectors will fit in a particular to connect a particular two particular sentences, right? So you have to be clear on their meanings and usages as well, right? Knowing the list and the types is just one or the starting aspect, right? So moving ahead, next one says there have been some charges of plagiarism. The charges of plagiarism were because of this reference, which to my mind is spurious and nonsensical. Okay, so we know when we talk about because of, okay, when we talk about because of, we know it means on account of. It is actually, they're synonyms. They are synonyms, right? So yes, one is actually the correct usage. And when there is one important point to note, when there are words repeated, like here in the end of this sentence, or in the starting of this sentence and the starting of this sentence, you can drop some of the some of the parts of the sentence. Like for example, if you say, you have to connect I love coffee, okay, I love tea. So you will write I love coffee and tea. You won't have to repeat I love again, okay, because there is these phrases are repetitive. So if these are repetitive, you can drop some bit of phrases from either of the sentences to make it a meaningful sentence, right? So one is the correct answer. Even so tells you the condition. Okay, even so is about the condition, so that is not the correct usage here. It is, they are not talking about a definite condition. Since is again used with cause and effect. Okay, so here that is not the correct usage here, though it is a cause and effect kind of question, but since does not fit here, right? So again, moving ahead, there is no absolute speed limit on most of the tideway downstream of Bandsworth Bridge. Boats are not allowed to create undue wash. Okay, so what they're saying is that they have not allowed boats on this stream in spite of the fact that there is no absolute speed limit. Okay, so here in spite is given here, but in spite is not used alone. Okay, we say in spite of. Okay, so make sure that you cannot use in spite here, because of is not given here. You cannot only add things to your connectors just by yourself, right? Don't do that. You have to use the connector as it is given in the question, right? So one you cannot use. Now even if is actually used when you are talking about one condition that will definitely happen even if whatever happens, right? So even if it rains, so this, if it rains, whatever will happen, even if hell breaks loose, right, I will dance. Okay, so this condition will definitely happen even if this is happening or anything else is happening. So even if is used when you are trying to emphasize on one condition which will definitely happen. That is not the case here. It is not. They are just telling that although or in spite of the fact that there is no speed limit on most of this downstream route, boats are not allowed. Okay, so you have to understand the meanings as well. Although is the correct usage. Option 1 is the correct answer, right? Moving ahead, do it yourself. Connect these two sentences using the appropriate connectors, and you can find the answers in the PDF given in the description box. Please download it if you want to know the answers to these do it yourself questions. And also join our English Telegram channel where we share these questions, and it will be very, very beneficial for you because we also share some really good reading comprehensions, right? So these will be very helpful for you if you are appearing for RBI exam or any other exam for that matter, right? Practice is actually the key to cracking all these exams, right? Next, word swapping or word exchange. If you see these questions in the exam, please be happy about it and try to solve these questions. Make sure you attempt them because they are very, very scoring. All right. So let us see what kind of swapping is required here or not, or if it is actually required or not, maybe the sentence is correct. And also one thing that you must take care of here is, even if swapping is making the sentence meaningful, right, and but if it is already meaningful without needing to swap, then you must not disturb that arrangement. Okay, exchange only those words which are not making sense, okay, which are not grammatically or contextually correct. Okay, so make sure that you take care of only this one point, and rest all, if you understand the context of a sentence, these kind of questions will be a cakewalk for you, right? The government has withdrawn the order that beer that it would not stated, though again we know that B and C should be swapped. This was by chance. So order that stated, orders will state, right, stated that it would not. So B, C we have only in one option, right? Since it is only in one option, we will just mark it and move ahead. We don't even need to read the entire sentence. Okay, the financial burden arising out of appointment of nearly so and so. Yes, this is correct. Moving ahead, the Kerala State Commission for Protection of Child Rights has directed that guidelines for admission to Kendra Vidyalaya be ensured to amend priority for a foster child if the foster parents are eligible to claim. So they are saying here the Kerala Commission for Protection of Child Rights has directed that guidelines for has ensured, okay, it should be ensured, has ensured that guidelines for admission to Kendra Vidyalaya, no. So A and B is actually right, has directed to amend priority for if the foster parents are eligible to claim. So eligible is right. Okay, D is right here. Let's see B, C. Be amended. Sorry, now this is something that was a confusing sentence. Be amended. Okay, so be amended to ensure B and C need to be swapped, right? A difficult, tricky question, right? So but make sure that you try all the possibilities before you actually exchange, right? Yes, so again I'm just removing it. It should be amended. Be amended to ensure priority for a foster child if the foster parents are eligible to claim admission under. Yes, so B, C is the correct answer. A is actually in the correct position. So we will mark your B, C as our answer. Okay, moving ahead, the weighing of the pandemic has already arguing a heated debate onset on a waiver of rent for the leases while generated over the fate of landlords. Okay, so they are saying the dash of the pandemic. We'll consider these blanks. Consider these blanks and try to fill these words there. Okay, the dash of the pandemic, the onset of the pandemic. So it looks like the correct pair to swap has already dash a heated debate. We are left with this. So generated D and B. Let's see A, C, B, D option here. Yes, the first option, right? So the onset of the pandemic has already generated a heated debate arguing in weighing in on a waiver for rent of rent for the lessees, while again arguing over the fate of landlords. Okay, so and so. So yes, A, C and B, D, we were right here. Next, the brigade dash that the artist work dash facts about Shivaji's life by glorifying the contended of his Brahmin guardian and mentor. So the brigade, what the brigade contended. Okay, so let us swap. The brigade will contend, okay, that the artist work twisted facts about Shivaji's life by glorifying the achievements of his Brahmin guardian and mentor. Making sense? A, D. C is the correct answer in this case. Alright, so you have to swap A and D. Okay, moving ahead, Brexit resolved an unfinished business which, if not remains properly, could threaten peace in Northern Ireland, right? So here Brexit, we see that here if not remains properly, you may feel, you know, this is correct but some grammatical mistake. But here if we swap A and C, see, Brexit remains an unfinished business which if not resolved properly could threaten peace in Northern Ireland. AC is the correct answer here, right? So just make sure you read it very carefully and understand that yes, you know, it has to be grammatically and contextually correct, right? The tangible slowdown in exports due to weaker global demand is unlikely to expected much soon, with recessions or sharp growth slowdowns change in several deployed markets. So we say is unlikely to what? Unlikely to change. So D will come here. When D is coming here, obviously C will come here because this is exchange. You have to exchange the positions, right? The tangible slowdown in exports due to weaker global demand. Let us see CD. Where is CD? Only CD or ABCD? The tangible slowdown is due to weaker global demand. So yes, the global demand has been described as weaker global demand, and tangible slowdown means that it can be measured. So this is right. AB is in the correct position. You will mark C as your answer. Okay, why? How did we do this? Because they have to define, or they have to describe that how has the global demand changed, right? So if the global demand is tangible, that will not have any effect, you know, as in why has the slowdown happened? Because something has changed, right? If you talk about tangible, it is not showing any change. Okay, change is being shown by weaker. So yes, A and B need to remain in their own positions. Only C, D need to be exchanged. All right. So these are some difficult, little tough. I mean, you can solve these yourself as well. But this is the only extent till which these kind of questions can be difficult. There is also other pattern of word exchange where, you know, you are given two sentences like this, and then words are given something like this: A, B, C. 3 words are given, and here PQR are given. 3 words in sentence 2. Okay, here 3 words are given, right? Your exchange needs to happen between these two sentences, 1 and 2. All right. So your options will be something like AQ, PC, something like this. Your options will be, right? And in this case, there may be one other set of questions where you will be required to join these two sentences using appropriate connectors. So again, those 3 connectors can be given to you, and you will be required to choose the correct combination of the correct connectors which may join these sentences correctly, right? So this is also one pattern. We have seen this pattern in bank PO actually, but you should know, we have not seen this in RBI as of till now, but you should know the patterns, right? So now moving ahead, do it yourself, number 5. Now this is for you. Practice this question, try solving it, and see if you are able to reach to the answer. For the correct answer, again I direct you to the PDF, the link to which has been given in the description box below, and also you can join our English Telegram channel where we share these questions and we will share the answers as well, right? Now this, friends, so many of you actually fear rearrangement, right? So it is nothing to fear actually. You will be able to solve this if you actually think, if you think with all your mind and you just be there focused. Okay, read it. This I've just if you don't want, you can just remain at this time only, but I will change the screen because it will help me write. Okay, so this is the same question. I've just made some space for my writing here. So let us see, in these kind of questions, what do we have to understand? Try solving it. Pause the video. If you are solving with me, kindly pause the video and then solve it. Now it says, this is what I sought. Now in these kind of questions, firstly, H is fixed. It is highlighted. It is fixed. Okay, and the other sentences you have to arrange. Okay, you have to understand what is being said in these sentences. All right. And in most of these, questions in my videos, with my students. I've discussed that there are several ways. You can form pairs, you can decide the opening sentence, the first sentence. You can also decide on the flow. Knowing the flow also helps you determine that what sentence should come next. Then there is a concept of transitional sentences. Okay, now if you are not understanding these terms, and if you want to practice only para jumbles or sentence rearrangement, whatever you call it, if you want to practice only these kind of questions, right, in your exam, before your exam, please practice mocks, and also search for these kind of these terms in the internet. If you find how to solve questions, para jumble questions based on transitional sentence, based on finding the first sentence, based on the flow, pairing, right, search for it. And because it will really help you in the main exam, in the actual exam. So now, first sentence, let us find what is the first sentence. We know that when any sentence is referring to some other sentence, it cannot be the first one, right? So this is what I sought. This shows us that it cannot be the first sentence. I have sought it finally. So sought it. What is the person seeking? We don't know. This also cannot be the first sentence. These passions like great winds. These passions, again referring to some sentence, right? This cannot be the first sentence. अभी हम फर्स्ट सेंटेंस फाइंड कर रहे हैं, ठीक है. ये नहीं हो सकता है क्योंकि ये दिस कह रहा है. दिस हमें नहीं पता क्या है, ठीक है. पहले इस सेंटेंस से पहले कुछ बताना चाहिए कि दिस क्या है, right? This cannot be the first sentence. A cannot be the first sentence. I have sought it. Again, it नहीं हो सकता है क्योंकि इसमें it लिखा है. ये हमें नहीं पता है it किसको रेफर कर रहा है, ठीक है. इसलिए B हमारा फर्स्ट सेंटेंस नहीं हो सकता. These passions like great winds have blown me hither and thither, right? So again, these passions we don't know किन passions की बात. ये first नहीं हो सकता है. Next, I have sought love first because it brings ecstasy. So वो कह रहा है I have sought love so and so. So let's see आगे क्या कह रहा है. It does not have something जो point कर रहा है. But let us see, is there any opening sentence which is better than this? I have sought it next because it relieves so and so. Again we don't know it क्या है, ठीक है. Three passions, simple but overwhelmingly strong, have governed my life. The longing for love, the search for knowledge, and unbearable pity for the suffering of mankind, right? So here with equal passion I have sought knowledge. ऐसी बात कर रहे हैं. So यहाँ पर ये कह रहा है opening sentence हमें ये मिल गया है F. क्यों? This is the opening sentence because यहाँ बोल रहा है I have sought love first because it brings ecstasy so and so. But here in F they are telling us कि person ने seek कर रहा है. Person is actually seeking love, ठीक है. So yes, F should come before E and D and all these sentences, ठीक है. अब आपने sentences पढ़े, you know that there is this order. I have sought love first, ठीक है. लव फर्स्ट. अब देखो इस सेंटेंस से पहले आप समझो, यहाँ पे लव है, नॉलेज है और पिटी है, ठीक है. तो तीन चीज़ों की यहाँ पे बात है, ठीक है. सो यहाँ पे दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट आई हैव सॉट लव फर्स्ट. तीन सेंटेंसेस हैं यहाँ पर. आई हैव सॉट लव फर्स्ट, आई हैव सॉट इट नेक्स्ट, आई हैव सॉट इट फाइनली, राइट. तो हमें एक यहाँ पे ग्रुप मिल गया है, ठीक है. आई हैव सॉट लव फर्स्ट पहले आएगा, फिर आएगा आई हैव सॉट इट नेक्स्ट, आई हैव सॉट इट फाइनली, बी. अभी क्या है, हमें ये पता है कि ये ऑर्डर एक साथ आएगा. these three sentences will come together, right? But not necessarily, we don't know at what position. Okay, so we have made one group, D, E, B will come together, right? अब बाकी sentences को we will fit here and there, right? बीच में यहाँ कहीं नहीं आएगा कोई और sentence. D, E, B is final. Okay, so we know the position of D, we know E, we know F, we know B. So A और C हम देखते हैं कहाँ आएंगे. These passions like great winds. अब देखो B में किसकी बात, D में भी only love की बात हो रही है, E में भी only love, ठीक है, only love. इन तीनों में only love. They are talking about only one thing, only love, right? But C talks about these passions, right? Plural. So there are more than one passion. Love के अलावा passion की बात कहाँ हो रही है? F में. F में three passions की बात हो रही है. So C कहाँ आएगा? F के बाद. Okay, now D, E, B. C की position we know. C की पता चल गई. We are left with A. A says this is what I sought, and though it might seem too good for human life, this is what at least I have found. Okay, so ये क्या कह रहा है? With equal passion I have sought knowledge. ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे किसकी बात हो रही है? नॉलेज की. ओके, सो नॉलेज कब आएगा? जब सब लव की बात कर दी है उसके बाद आपका नॉलेज आएगा. ठीक है, बिकॉज पहले उन्होंने एक बात कर दी लव की, उसके बाद वो बता रहा है नॉलेज, और यहाँ बोल रहा है आई हैव विश टू अंडरस्टैंड द हार्ट्स ऑफ मैन. ओके, सो वही नॉलेज से रिलेटेड है. जी और एच आपका इकट्ठे आ रहा है. तो ये अभी क्या हो गया आपका? एफ सी यू नो समवेयर डी ई बी, बट यू आर लेफ्ट विद ए. ए क्या कह रहा है? दिस इज वॉट आई सॉट एंड दो इट माइट सीम टू गुड फॉर ह्यूमन लाइफ, दिस इज वॉट एटलीस्ट आई हैव फाउंड. ठीक है, क्या फाइंड किया है? अब देखो ए या तो यहाँ आएगा या यहाँ आएगा. So let us see what is the better position. A B के बाद क्या कह रहा है? वो B कह रहा है I have sorted finally because in the union of love I have seen in a mystic miniature the prefiguring vision of the heaven that saints and poets have imagined. तो वो एकदम imaginations ऐसी बात कर रहा है जो कि human life के लिए it seems too good. You know, connection मिला आपको. इट सीम्स टू गुड फॉर द ह्यूमन लाइफ. ठीक है, तो B के बाद आपका A आएगा, यहाँ नहीं आएगा. तो अब D E B A G H, दिस इज योर ऑर्डर. ओके, F C D E B A G H, इट इज़ योर ऑर्डर. अब इसको आप आपका क्वेश्चंस इस टाइप से आ सकते हैं दैट टेल द second sentence of the after rearrangement, right? Tell the fourth sentence after rearrangement, and you will be given options like D E C D E B A, like this. Options will be given, right? So if they say tell the second sentence, you will select this as your answer. If they say tell the fourth sentence, then you will select E as your answer, right? This is how. और अगर आपको सिर्फ ऑर्डर निकालना है तो दिस विल टेक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम, बट क्योंकि टाइम लेता है, राइट? बट जनरली ऐसा होता है, जनरली वी से दैट because parajumble it takes time, but then after having the sequence you are able to solve three or four questions based on it. But if you don't get questions of this pattern, again I am repeating, ये मैंने starting में भी बोला, ठीक है, आपको सिर्फ ऑर्डर दे रखा है ऑप्शंस में, समथिंग लाइक दिस. अगर यही ऐसा ऑर्डर दे दिया, ओके, ऐसे दे दिया CFTEABGH ऑर्डर दे दिया, तो सॉल्व इट जस्ट बिफोर रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन, क्योंकि ये टाइम लेगा बट इसका वर्थ इज ओनली 1 मार्क. ओके, सो उस टाइम उस तरह से आपको थोड़ा कैलकुलेशन करना है. नाउ कमिंग टू अनदर डू इट योर सेल्फ, ये आपको खुद करना है. अगेन पेयरिंग करो, लिंक ढूंढो, फाइंड द लिंक्स, एंड उसके बाद जस्ट सी दैट आप हाउ आर यू एबल टू रीच टू योर ऑर्डर, मतलब इट शुड बी इन द करेक्ट ऑर्डर. ऑल राइट, नाउ वी हैव वन रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन. ऑल राइट, और ये रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन है, इसको रीड करिए, एंड दिस आई विल सेंड यू, टेक योर ओन टाइम बिकॉज थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा आपको पढ़ने में. एंड द आंसर्स टू दिस आई विल ड्रॉप, आपको यहाँ पर आपका जो टेलीग्राम लिंक है, काइंडली ज्वाइन दिस टेलीग्राम लिंक, और इसको आप ज्वाइन करेंगे तो यू विल बी एबल टू टुमारो ऑन 7th of July आई विल पोस्ट the answers for this document, I mean this RC in this telegram channel. All right, or also we will link in the comment section again on 7th only, 7th evening around 5 or so, right? So do join this telegram channel, and अभी ये RC जो है इसको पढ़िए. ये RC मैंने क्वेश्चन फॉर्म में आई हैव गिवन दिस RC इन योर अगेन इन दैट PDF वेयर देर आर सॉल्यूशंस टू योर डू इट योर सेल्फ क्वेश्चंस. तो वहीं पे आई हैव प्लेस दिस RC ऑल्सो, बट विदाउट द सॉल्यूशंस, विद द क्वेश्चंस आई हैव प्लेस्ड, राइट? तो इसको रीड करो, डाउनलोड दैट PDF, सॉल्व दोज क्वेश्चंस जो वहाँ पे दे रखे हैं, एंड उसके बाद वी विल जस्ट वेट फॉर द आंसर्स. टुमारो आई विल पोस्ट द आंसर्स in our telegram group, right? This is a telegram group. आपको screenshot लेना, you can take the screenshot, pause and read, you can do as you like. Download the PDF given in the description box, it will be very very helpful. और इसको जो है kindly do it, join the channel, and you will have all the answers, right? So this is all for today, friends, and make sure कि the kind of questions we practiced here in the class, make sure that you are practicing these questions in your in your mock test as well. So it will help you once you